Tuesday. Come on in, pull up a chair. The Gaming Gang Dispatch is in the air. Howdy, gang, and welcome once again to the Duct Tape Studios. I'm Jeff McAleer, your host, here at the Gaming Gang Dispatch, brought to you by, amazingly enough, thegaminggang.com, of which I happen to be the founder and editor-in-chief. So welcome aboard. Tonight is Tuesday, July 25th, 2023. This is live stream 945. If you're not overly familiar with the show, let me point out, super casual around here. We're not engaged in rocket surgery by any stretch of the imagination. No, we're hanging out, talking about the latest in tabletop gaming news, while normally taking a first look at a game. And that's what we'll be doing tonight. We will be unboxing and taking a first look at Dawn from Green Meadow Games. This is kind of a village building card game, I do believe. So we're going to dive on in. We're going to get a closer look at this in just a bit. Should mention, if you're tuning in live because you want to see the unboxing of Dawn, we do tackle the tabletop gaming news first around here. So it'll probably be about 35, maybe 40 minutes before we jump on into that unboxing. So if you're watching live, kick back, relax, enjoy yourself. If you happen to be tuning in 30 minutes or more after the stream has ended and you want to skip past tabletop gaming news, although I personally wouldn't because there's always cool news about games. But then again, you're not me. If you want to skip past because you're impatient, you can. There's timestamps. Those timestamps are located in the show notes, or depending on the device you happen to be watching this on, they might be right there in the timeline of the video. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. Lastly, this is a live show, so that means there is chat available. It's not on screen. It's one of the ways I keep some of the more unusual commenters at bay. But if you happen to be a subscriber to the channel, if you are a subscriber for 48 hours or more, well, then you can say howdy. Or you can always shoot me a question, a comment. Maybe there's going to be something about Dawn you'd like to get a closer look at. By all means, chime in. I'll do my best to respond. First out the gate tonight is Stray Kismet. We've got the Madman. Yes, the Motor City Madman is with us, one of our chat moderators. Kevin King, Mark Dandy, Flaming Huron is with us. Another of our chat moderators from across the pond. And chat is off and running. Howdy, everybody. So yes, I am back from San Diego after Comic-Con 2023. I will talk a little bit about it, not a ton, just a little bit, after we tackle the tabletop gaming news tonight. But I will say, nah, it was all right. Just if I were, let's say, if it was the first time I was visiting Comic-Con, I don't think I would return. Because you have to keep in mind, that SAG strike on top of the writer's strike, or in conjunction with that writer's strike, meant a ton of stuff getting canceled. So, with us, we're not there for any particular reason. And I mean, we did get into the various different press parties, and that was not an issue. So those were still going on. Just was sort of. Anyway, like I said, I'll talk a little bit about that in just a bit. So let's jump on into the news, because SlugFest Games will be releasing a new title in the Red Dragon Inn series of games. I've got the latest on Tales from the Red Dragon Inn. An explosion in the basement of the Red Dragon Inn launches our heroes on the adventure of their lives. Evil schemes are in motion. Can the adventurers thwart them before it's too late? Tales from the Red Dragon Inn is a cooperative tactical combat game set in the well-loved fantasy world of adventurers and tavern brawls. The scenario-driven campaign will pit players against unique challenges presented by each of the fully illustrated maps. Band together with your friends, and with a bit of luck and careful maneuvering, you'll complete your party's objectives before your enemies achieve their own. In Tales, you'll take on the role of one of the famous characters from the Red Dragon Inn series of games as they tackle their day job of being big damn heroes. The multi-scenario campaign pits the players against game-controlled enemies tailor-made for each illustrated fold-out game map. Each scenario will take you to a new map with new foes, and even a few tricky puzzles to solve. You'll need to work together with the other players by equipping hero and item cards to support your allies who have their own unique abilities and roles. Each scenario has specific objectives, so how you and your party beat each one varies from kill all the enemies to survive X number of turns, to protect this thing until something happens, to get to this room on the map. All of the players win the scenario together by completing that scenario's final objective. They can also all lose together if any one of them are defeated in combat, or in the case of many scenarios, the enemies complete their own AI-controlled objective. Tales from the Red Dragon Inn includes 6 heroes with unique mechanics and abilities that you can customize each game session. 8 detailed, fully assembled miniatures, 14 fully illustrated 2-sided maps to get you right into the action, over 200 cards to unlock over the course of the narrative campaign, over 40 foes to encounter, each with scenario-specific mechanics, and 25 story-driven scenarios spanning 5 chapters. There's also a transformative solo mode for taking on the baddies by yourself, plus a walkthrough guide to teach you the game as you play the first 4 scenarios, and a rule book designed for easy reference. There are also custom molded dice, hundreds of tokens, and more. Tales from the Red Dragon Inn is for 1 to 4 players, ages 13 and up, plays in 90 to 120 minutes, and it's going to carry an MSRP of $109.95 when it arrives on August 3rd. Of course, this is a Gen Con release. Gotta say, I am intrigued. I am interested. Gotta also say, completely honest here, this really doesn't look like a $110 game. This looks more like a game, maybe $69.99, somewhere in that vicinity. Now, it's possible there's far more than what we're looking at here. So that's what I base and I get it, there's a bunch of different maps and things like that. Yes, I do understand. But I don't know. Like I said, $109.95 feels a bit steep. But I would be very intrigued to check this out. I remember talking with, gosh, I want to say it's Sam. I want to say his name was Sam. I might be completely wrong because it's been a long time. At Gen Con one year and we talked about Red Dragon Inn. And I think at that point, volume 3 was coming out or had just come out. So the Red Dragon Inn games have been around for quite some time. All right, let's see. We've got some new folks popping on into chat. Rodrigo Pinheiro, I'm sure I messed that name up, is with us from Rio de Janeiro. Well, welcome. Thanks for tuning on in. Roger, I did it again. What is it? What is it where I always look at Roger Prudhomme's last name first? I think this is the third show in a row where I'm like, oh, it's Roger. Oh, yes, and it's stupid. Good to see Roger. And Kathy Evans is also with us. Moving on to the next news piece. Also arriving on August 3rd is Floating Floors from CardLords. Here's what I know. Floating Floors is a tactical balancing duel in which you, a ninja, become the architect of your own domain, creating a labyrinth of floating floorboards for your rival to cross. In more detail, you create a stable path to your target by balancing a labyrinth of floorboards that will also be used by your rival. The trick is in strategically using your jutsu tokens to keep your new ninja camouflaged with the surroundings, while also sabotaging the rival ninja's path. The first ninja to claim all 4 Benson seals concealed by your rival during setup wins. Floating Floors is for 2 to 4 players, ages 12 and up, plays in around 20 minutes, and is going to carry an MSRP of $24.99 when it arrives next month. Interesting. Now, it does look like some of these shots that CardLords has shared are kind of beta shots. This is not the finished product. So that looks like that is the finished product, where each of the little ninjas, actually, it looks like it's a sticker that's on there. So this could be kind of cool. Sounds kind of interesting. So that is Floating Floors, which is arriving next month from CardLords. Let's talk about some role-playing game news, because you can score really big savings right now on the 2nd edition of the index card role-playing game from Runehammer Games with a special bundle of holding. I've got the deets on the deal. Adventurer! We've resurrected our March 2021 index card RPG bundle featuring the 2019 2nd edition of Index Card RPG, the fast-playing modular do-it-yourself role-playing game tool set from Runehammer Games. These PDFs let you construct your own streamlined, fast-playing campaign in almost any genre. You can easily adapt ICRPG's video game-style ideas to any other RPG. Hearts, Zelda-inspired hit points, effort, a way of pacing a scene, universal targets. Every roll in a given scene is rolled against the same target number, and banana movement. That's right, you heard me correctly. Banana movement. On your turn, your figure, or if you're using a miniature, can move across the playfield the length of a banana and still take another action. If you move banana length plus, well, that's your whole turn. Check Runehammer's popular YouTube channel and Diehart's lengthy list of index card RPG resources. Then return for this bargain price revival that once again gives you everything you need to build your very own campaigns. Well, except for those index cards. For just $9.95, you'll get all 3 titles in this starter collection for this offer, which holds a retail value of $38. These are DRM-free PDFs, including the complete 192-page index card RPG second edition core rulebook, plus its free ICRPG Quick Start, the key supplement ICRPG Worlds, and a collection of 44 pre-generated fantasy characters, heroes of the hammer. If you pay more than the threshold price of $20.28, that's currently, you'll level up and also get this Revival's entire bonus collection with 9 more supplements, source books, and adventures worth an additional $58, including the World Map Poster Pack and Doom Vault Mega Map, the Cyberpunk Supplement Altered State, 4 complete campaign settings, Vigilante City, Xeno Dead Zone, Blood and Snow, and Bearcats, and 2 adventures by YouTube video reviewer and ICRPG fan Dave Thermivore, Age of Snakes, and the Turnip Knights. You can score these savings through August 14th, and 10% of your payment after gateway fees will be donated to Direct Relief. I would say run, do not walk, run, and get this bundle if you do not already have Index Card role-playing, because it is a blast. It is excellent. Although I will admit, I'm kind of surprised that the Master Edition is not what's being offered. This is the second edition. So in the Master Edition, that book actually includes Vigilante City, Blood and Snow. I think it also has Bearcats and Xeno Dead Zone. So it's actually got science fiction, it's got fantasy, because that's the default setting is fantasy, and a lot more. So I'm not saying that you're missing out on anything, but I'm kind of surprised it's just not the PDF of the Master Edition. It is the second edition. Got to point out also that Hanker Infernale doesn't seem to be doing much for an Index Card RPG anymore. I think his main focus now is on DM Scotty's Easy D6 role-playing game. I think that's the big game that Runehammer Games is focused on these days. But still, ICRPG, fantastic. Even if you don't have any like desire to run it because it's maybe a little too light for you, it's like just jam-packed with great ideas. It really is. There you'll get your money's worth just in role-playing game mastering ideas. I promise you. I promise. Moving right along, October is going to see the return of the Planescape setting to the world of Dungeons and Dragons. Here's the dope. Planar Pandemonium is just a roll of the dice away in this weird and wonderful adventure. Everything you love about Planescape and more. Return to the incredibly imaginative world of Planescape, where demons and angels sip tea together, and the unexpected is just around the corner. From perplexing realities to multiversal glitches, fans of the original Planescape setting will encounter both familiar and unfamiliar uncertainties in this smorgasbord of multidimensional chaos. Create your own planes-hopping adventurer. Planescape Adventures in the Multiverse comes with a plethora of unconventional new player options. Choose from 2 new backgrounds. Will you be a gate warden, influenced by mysterious planar forces, or a planar philosopher who pursues the hidden truths of the multiverse? Channel planar energies with 7 otherworldly feats. Experiment with intriguing magic spells and draw inspiration from Sigil's 12 ascendant factions, each with distinct cosmic ideologies. Infinite realms, infinite storytelling. Bursting with multiversal flavor, this campaign collection contains limitless storytelling inspiration. Dungeon masters will find everything they need to run grand adventures, including adventure hooks, idiosyncratic locations, and multiversal calamities. With a random encounter table and over 50 unusual creatures, planar pandemonium is just a roll of the dice away. Warp through a weird and wonderful world. Immerse yourself in the backstage of reality, using Sigil, the City of Doors, as a gateway to explore the surreal landscape of the Outlands. Explore with the double-sided poster map of Sigil and the Outlands, which serve as both adventure locations and springboards to adventures across the multiverse. The possibilities, just like the realms, are endless. This campaign collection includes Sigil and the Outlands. Sounds like a band, doesn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, Sigil and the Outlands! This is a 96-page hardcover book that includes planar character options, details on the fantastic City of Doors, descriptions of the Outlands, saying Outlands a lot, and the gate towns that lead to the Outer Planes, and more. There's Turn of Fortune's Wheel, a 96-page hardcover adventure set in Sigil and the Outlands, which is designed for characters of levels 3 to 10 with a jump to level 17. We'll come back to that in just a moment. Then we have Mort's Planar Parade, a 64-page hardcover book that presents game statistics and descriptions for inhabitants of the Outer Planes, including planar incarnates, hierarch modrons, and time dragons. There's also a double-sided poster map of, you guessed it, Sigil and the Outlands, as well as a sturdy 4-panel Dungeon Master's screen. The Dungeons and Dragons Planescape slipcase set is set to arrive October 17th. Now, right now, you can save on the physical and digital bundle, which I believe that's how you have to purchase these now. I don't think there's an option of not getting the D&D Beyond digital offering. But you can save a little bit if you pre-order now. It is $79.99. The MSRP is slated to be $94.99. So I am very interested. For one, right now you're looking at the alternate art covers. They look really cool. I definitely like that artwork on that slipcase. Kind of cool. I'm like, I'm quite interested. Yes. So, I got to be honest, I have absolutely no real knowledge of Planescape outside of having played the PC game years upon years ago. So, I was already out. I was gone. I was not playing D&D when all the various different settings came out. So I'm not familiar with Dark Sun at all. Of course, the settings that have come out for 5th edition, yes, now I know quite a lot more about these various different settings. Like Ravenloft, I didn't know. I mean, granted, yes, I knew about Strahd and some aspects of the campaigns or the settings, but I know a lot of people are excited. I know a lot of people have been clamoring that they wanted Planescape. John Muscola actually asks the question that I'm a bit curious and concerned about, and that is, will this be another Spelljammer disaster? Yes. Don't know. I do not know. This is how I think it's going to play out. And this has sort of been the whole Wizards of the Coast 5e D&D repurposing various different settings from the past, is that you get a book like Eberron, or now it's going to be slipcase sets At least it seems to be, with Spelljammer and now Planescape. And that's kind of it. They sort of just release this stuff and then they just leave it for third-party creators to flesh things out. And I know there were a lot of people out there who were really disappointed in Spelljammer. I thought it was okay. I had a lot of issues with it. I mean, there was some cool stuff for Spelljammer, but like the combat for like space combat was pretty much non-existent. So Flaming Huron says, well, John, it's Wizards of the Coast, so you can only assume as much. Tessie Trekkie's with us. Says those alternate art covers are rocking. Who else popped in? Scott B. Smith is with us in chat. So I'm not sure if they're just listening in. But that's cool. Welcome aboard. Thank you for joining us tonight. Well, let's keep our fingers crossed we get an opportunity to see this. Because I think it's the Giants book that's coming, right? Isn't the Giants book next month? Then the Dragon book is September. Then this is October. And then don't we have, is it the Deck of Many Things slipcase set? Is that for November or December? Something like that. So the latter part of this year is going to have a lot of D&D content rolling out. But I have not heard, yes, thank you, Roger. See, I said Roger this time, not Proger. Says August 15th. And I believe if you've pre-purchased through Wizards, you'll have access to the D&D Beyond file, I think a week earlier, something like that, or in about a week. I haven't heard anything, but I think last time, I'm trying to remember, what was the last D&D release? It was kind of the same thing. We got, it was wasn't it the Golden Keys? With all the, like, heist adventures. So, we got access to the reviewers, I should say, got access to that release when everybody else got it. So, and then we got the physical book about 3 or 4 days before it hit stores, if I remember correctly. Because usually reviewers get the D&D stuff almost 2 weeks before it hits stores. So I don't know. Maybe, once again, it is possible the folks for the PR company that Wizards of the Coast uses got tired of me not saying everything was fantastic that comes out. They're like, enough of this guy. We'll find out. All right, last news piece. Latest supplement has arrived for Warhammer 40,000 Wrath and Glory. Here's the lowdown on Redacted Records Volume 2. When shields sunder and weapons falter, only faith endures. Step into the embattled Gilead system and forsaken haven of humanity amidst the writhing chaos of the Circuitrix Maledictum. Wield the sacred motive force to flay your foes as an electro-priest, or take up the Emperor's blessed arms and wage war in his name as a sister dogmata. Redacted records to... That's what happens when I don't do a show for a little bit of time. Redacted Records 2 is an invaluable resource for players and game masters alike. Suffused with scriptures of righteous destruction and technological liturgies to empower your games of wrath and glory with an abundance of new ways to play. The book is packed with 8 fervent new archetypes from the Adeptus Mechanicus and Adeptus Sororitas, powerful holy relics, hallowed locations, and a host of new talents for players to customize their characters. Redacted Records 2 is a treasure trove of content for games of Wrath and Glory, featuring rules for generating unique ancient items of myriad forms and functions, perfect for game masters that want to create blessed artifacts or malign relics of terrible power. 8 ready-to-play archetypes from the Adeptus Mechanicus and Adeptus Ministorum, a collection of sacred shrines across the Gilead system, each with a built-in adventure and a mysterious secret. Patrons for the Ecclesiarchy and Adeptus Mechanicus, each with their own engaging missions in the spiritual battlegrounds of the Gilead system. Expanded Ascension packages for the Triumphant Faithful, talents for character customization, and Blessed War Gear, a wealth of material for any pious role player. You can pre-order the 96-page hardcover right now from Cubicle 7 Games, which will also score you the PDF immediately for $34.99, or grab just the PDF right now over at DriveThruRPG for $19.99. Once again, definitely glad to see Cubicle 7 Games continues to support this, to support Wrath and Glory, especially knowing that we have a brand new Warhammer 40K role-playing game that's out in PDF from Cubicle 7 Games, and the physical book is on the horizon. I think it's later this year or early next year is when that's slated to arrive. This hardcover is also supposed to be coming out in Q1 of next year. So PDF's out now, so you can pick that up. All right, that is it for tonight's news. Of course, I was just talking about DriveThruRPG. Do want to mention that the gaming gang, thus the Dispatch, is affiliated with the One Bookshelf site. So if you're going to go visit DriveThruRPG, Dungeon Masters Guild, Storytellers Vault, what have you, please stop by thegaminggang.com for all intents and purposes. Click on one of our banner ads. That way, if you happen to make a purchase, I get a small portion of that sale. And all those nickels, dimes, and quarters really do add up and help keep thegaminggang.com around, and it doesn't cost you anymore. You pay the same price regardless if you went directly to DriveThruRPG or you stop by and allow me to piggyback on your purchase and get 5% of it. Should also mention right now, it is the Christmas in July sale. So there are tens of thousands of PDFs that are on sale. I want to say, I think it's 25% off is the usual savings that you'll find in the Christmas in July sale over at DriveThruRPG. Also, if you like this video, if you dig the channel, if you find thegaminggang.com to be a valuable resource, hell, if you just like what we do, you can always stop on by paypal.me/thegaminggang to make a small donation. And big thank you to all of you out there who use the banner ads for the drive-through sites and or visit paypal.me/thegaminggang, because you go a long way to keeping this guy around. No joke. Because if you're not overly familiar with the Gaming Gang, you may not realize I don't do Patreon. And now I have bounced around the idea of actually having a monthly subscription like Patreon, which I believe I can actually do through PayPal, but I don't do that yet. I probably won't anyway. And of course, I don't do Kickstarters for season 14. Don't even get me going with that. These people in their seasons of gaming shows. It's like, oh, well, 20 episodes makes a season. So they can do like 2 months of shows or, well, videos, what have you. And then all of a sudden they're on to season 2. And it's like an artificial way of making them sound like they've been around longer. It's all it boils down to, ladies and gents. Kevin R. Smith is with us, as is Wild Hunter, who I believe might be visiting for the first time. So, and they are a big fan of Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. It's a cracking system, although combat is a little clunky. It is a little bit. But it does move very quickly. That's one thing I do like. So there is a Strange New Worlds Lower Decks crossover for Trek. I've not seen it. I haven't even started watching the latest season of Strange New Worlds. I only watched the first season of Lower Decks. That was kind of a topic of conversation with some of us at Comic-Con, was some of the shows, like myself personally, I'll start watching a series. If that series doesn't really grab my attention in the first 3 episodes, I tend to check out. So my best friend Elliot Miller was giving me a hard time because he's like, "Oh, have you watched whatever?" And I'd be like, I started watching it, and I was like, but then I had to bust his chops because he's giving me a hard time for only watching the first 3 episodes of various different shows that just didn't grab my attention. And then there's all this stuff he hasn't even seen. So it's like, hey, did you see the latest Guardians of the Galaxy? No. Did you see the Flash? No. Did you see like Ant-Man and Wasp? No. I was like, so you're busting my chops that I start watching a show and I'm like, it's just not grabbing me. I'm like, you're not even giving anything a chance to grab you. So I was going to discuss a little bit about good old San Diego Comic-Con. Unfortunately, you're not going to see any coverage from it. So I brought the good old Panasonic GH5 Mark II. Yeah, the one that's the overhead camera, right? Which is set up very, very similar to the Panasonic G85. Except for something I didn't realize, that the microphone jack is not in the same location. So not only was the videography by the person who was using the camera, I'm not going to name any names, very lacking. The wireless mic was plugged into the headphone jack. So it's like, so the audio is actually coming from the camera mic, and all you hear is just background noise. And I can make out what people are saying, but the average viewer, no, ain't going to happen. Tessie Trekkie says, Barbenheimer was a great movie. Yeah, they're both getting very good reviews. I don't really think I'll be searching out Barbie, but Oppenheimer I would like to check out. I would like to see that. In fact, I just listened to an interview with, isn't it Cillian Murphy? I forget how his first name's pronounced. The Irish, we like to, mess up the spelling of stuff and then be like, oh no, that's Sean. Oh no, that's Patrick. Really? It's like Pedrig to me. Anyway, so that is, excuse me, that is the long and short of the coverage. And the thing is, went and did interviews with Funko Games. It was really only Funko stuff. Funko Games, Mondo, Loungefly, and Funko itself. Now, there is, uh, it's called Pop Yourself, which I will be receiving mine probably in about a week or so. I'll share it with you when it comes. But it's a new thing. It's Funko where you create yourself. There aren't a ton of options. Plus, they're pops, right? They have that blank expression anyway. But so I put one together. I created one that's supposed to be me. Only thing I could find were like playing cards as far as the accessories that he's holding. I would have liked to have seen, like, I don't know, like a book, comic book, something. Anyway, Wild Hunter says Barbie seems to be a movie that women love, but men aren't really caring for. I don't know if you're. I would think that it's, aimed at, the feminine audience out there, but I don't know. I have no idea. But I heard Ryan Gosling kind of steals the show as Ken. All right. So, Tessie Trekkie thought I said top yourself. No, it's pop yourself. All right. So we are going to be diving on in, taking a look at Dawn in just a few moments. But first, I think it's time for a brief intermission.
It's intermission time, folks. Time out for a delicious snack in our sparkling refreshment building. Every item a fresh, appetizing taste treat.
Candy is delicious food, eat some every day. Oh, we ride in the rodeo, roping steers and busting broncos, and we haven't had a bite to eat since dawn. We are hungry and we're dragging, but here comes the old chuck wagon with the fiddles that we long for. Bring her on!
Now I'm the U.S. Marshal. To soft drinks I am partial.
And this popcorn's good.
My gosh, I say it be. You like 'em, lick 'em, ice cream, and this ice cream, very nice cream.
You buy 'em,
And you try 'em,
and you see. Now it's time for intermission, so let's all hit the trail and gather round the sweet bar where these goodies are on sale.
On sunny Sunday afternoons we play the songs of old. We love to play for Valentine, the ale with brewer's gold.
It's got that big taste, big ale taste. Oh, that Valentine. Ale with brewer's gold.
Now when we play that papa, the folks cheer all the time. For brewer's gold, the flavor hops they use in Valentine.
Brewer's Gold, the rare strain of flavor hops. That's the extra something in Valentine ale that no other drink can offer. It's the ale with the big, big taste. So if you enjoy good living, good eating, you'll enjoy Valentine ale with Brewer's Gold.
Enjoy that big taste, big ale taste. Oh, that Valentine.
It's the genuine.
Ale with brewer's gold.
Let's stop and make a pot of Wilkins coffee.
Keep going, I don't like coffee.
It happened that way, moving west.
The Navy frogmen go into action. Beneath enemy ships, Navy frogmen work swiftly and secretly until... Look how real these miniature Navy frogmen are. The Torchman, the deadly demolitions expert, and the daring obstacle scout. These miniature Navy frogmen swim, dive, and surface by themselves, and they can be yours now. Look, here's where your free supply of high-pressure propellant goes. Ordinary baking powder will work, too. Now, here's how to get your set of 3 plastic Navy frogmen. For each set of 3, send 1 box top from Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes and only 25 cents, or send 1 box top from Kellogg's Sugar Corn Pops and 25 cents. Use the handy order blank on the packages of Kellogg's Sugar Frosted Flakes or Sugar Corn Pops, or mail direct to Navy Frogmen, Box 350, Battle Creek, Michigan. Hurry!
Yes. Big, big flavor. That Valentine's beer. It's not just big flavor, it's big, big flavor. Flaming Heron's asking if those frogmen were worth the postage. I would think so. I would think so. The funny thing is, I remember. I don't think they are the exact same frogmen, but I do remember those frogmen coming with some cereal, and you used baking powder to make them float and drop and float and stuff like that. So Kevin King says, well, most of the ones they sent in never resulted in anything. So no, not worth the postage. Possibly not. All right. So let's jump on into taking a look at Dawn from Green Meadow Games. It's designed by Taylor Hayward with art provided by Angela Rizza. Game is for 2 to 5 players, ages 8 and up. Plays in around 25 to 45 minutes. Does carry an MSRP of $20. Let's swing on over to the other camera because here I've got Dawn. All right, so first of all, I am going to take the shrink wrap off. Let's see what we have. Join with others to build a village. It takes a village. You can choose to be an ally and share in your victory, or be a scoundrel. And hoard resources for your own personal glory. The choice is yours. All right. So, as you can see, not a huge box. Plus, of course, I have some small hands. Flaming Heron says the focus is struggling. Yeah, we'll see what's going on. See what happens. Okay, so we've got little envelopes here with stuff. Open when all great buildings have been built. Open when you've built the Oracle 3 times. Open when a player has won the game as a scoundrel 3 times. Open when the allies have won 3 times. And open when one player single-handedly defeats 3 threats in a round. So we've got almost looks like there's a bit of a legacy aspect to the game. So we've got a little rule booklet. And then we've got some decks of cards. Looks like we've got 5 decks and a first player token, which looks to be made out of wood. Tessie Trekkie says, tiny game is tiny. So there we go. That's our first player. Then we've got some square cards. And then we've got some playing card size cards. So we'll be diving on into those in just a moment. Of course, we're not going to open these up because that's part of the legacy aspect, I guess, of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in as close as I can get. And then I am going to lock in this focus. All right, come on. There we go. So let's see what we've got. To build a village or build your fortune is essentially what we're looking at here. Game overview. Citizens have congregated to settle a new township, but can they be trusted to work together? In Dawn, you will work to construct your fledgling town while defending it from threats. Will you choose to cooperate and use your resources in the shared task of town building and share the victory? Or will you secretly subvert the town and keep the treasure for yourself to secure a single player win? Choice is yours. So we have 144 resource cards and 4 suits. Attack is red, heal is green, spy is blue, and wild is yellow, We also have some wound cards, which show a skull, and showing us our building tiles. So we've got building tiles, cost to build 6, 8, 10, 11, and 12. Then we have building tile backs, which shows a prosperity value. We have threat tiles. We have got barbarians, plagues, and bandits. And then we have 4 great building cards. Going to show us the anatomy of the card. So we have some that are worth treasures. So it looks like, let's see. Yeah, it's a little chest. You see it right there. So this must be 1. So it looks like we have a variety of different amounts on these cards here. So like here, that one's got 2. And then it looks like it's got a little eye for a spy symbol. So then we've got the building tiles, which I think are square. That's going to show us how much treasure it costs to build that. And then we've got a bandit tile, shows what the cost is to defeat it, and it's showing 3 eyes. So it's going to cost you a spy cards or cards with that symbol on it. So we've got our setup. Everybody's going to start off with 7 cards from the resource deck and 2 wound cards. Dawn requires working together to build a city with 2 ways to win. Each player must secretly choose their path. Will you work as an ally by committing your resources to building the town, or turn into a scoundrel by hoarding resources for yourself? You can collaboratively win as a team by achieving a certain prosperity threshold in the town, determined by the number of ally players at the end of the game. Or you can choose to work as a scoundrel, winning only if the town fails to reach its prosperity threshold and you have the most treasure in your personal storehouse. Each round, you have an opportunity to spend resource cards to contribute to the town treasury, construct buildings under town tiles, or grade building cards, or for special actions to advance your own secret goals. Game ends after 6 rounds, at which time the prosperity of the town is totaled. If the ally players meet or exceed their prosperity threshold based on the number of ally players, they win, and the scoundrels lose. If the ally players don't reach their prosperity threshold, then the scoundrel player with the most treasure in their storehouse wins. So during a round, you get to take turns playing resource cards. So as we know, we're going to start off with 7 cards and 2 wound cards. So are you going to spend all of those? Play all your cards and then redraw a fresh hand? Oh, then you got a storehouse. So it looks like you can keep some cards from round to round. Okay. At the beginning of the first 5 rounds, place a number of town tiles face down in a row in the middle of the table, depending on the player count. Skip this step on round 6. In that round, only the great building cards are available. Then all players must simultaneously choose one of their resource cards and place it face down in their respective storehouse. This card helps determine a player's affiliation, ally or scoundrel. Play starts with the first player. On your turn, you can perform as many of the following actions as you wish in any order. Once you can no longer take any actions, you must pass, though you can always choose to pass before you run out of cards. So each of the following actions, except for passing, requires you to play resource cards from your hand. Note that wound cards can never be played as part of any action. They're kind of like cards you would have for a deck building game, right? We're trying to get rid of those. Says you are free to say whatever you wish about the cards you contribute, but the cards themselves must be kept secret until they're revealed. You can contribute a resource card to help build a town building, a great building, or to deal with a threat. You can swap cards with your storehouse. At any time on your turn, you may switch resource cards from your storehouse to your hand, replacing them one for one. Says you'll therefore always have the same amount of cards in your storehouse that you began your turn with. This does not count as your action for the turn. So you can contribute to a great building. You can heal a wound. You can remove a wound card from your hand or any other player's hand by discarding any 3 health resource cards, returning it, the wound card, to the wound deck. Raid a great building. Spy on a building. You may secretly look at the other side of a face-down threat or town building tile by discarding any one spy resource card. You can discard any number of resource cards of your choice. You may not discard wound cards. Passing ends your turn. If you do not have any more resource cards in your hand, you must pass. So I would take a guess that your wound cards, if you don't spend those health cards to heal the wound, that you have to keep it. That'd be my guess. Wild Hunter says, I have a feeling that most players will go scoundrels. No, I don't know. I would think, like most of the people I play with, they probably look at this as a cooperative game. They'd all be allies. So once the Great Buildings round ends, the game is over, and it's time to find out who wins. And then it's talking about how you build the great buildings, victory conditions. So here, an example round, it says, it's the beginning of a round in a 3-player game, and the 5 town tiles are revealed to be a town building that costs 6 treasure to build, another town building that costs 6 treasure to build, a barbarian attack that costs 3 red resource cards to defeat, a plague that costs 4 green resource cards to defeat, and a town building that costs 10 treasure to build. So I'm curious, let's see, real quickly. Dealing with threats. I'm curious what happens if you don't deal with the threat. So if the threat's requirement has been met, discard the tile face down and all resource cards contributed to it. If its requirements have not been met, flip the tile face up. Resolve the attacks shown. These attacks may destroy buildings, cause players to gain wounds, while some do nothing at all. Okay. All right. So looks pretty well laid out there. So that's our little rule book. So let's see what we got. And I am just going to grab the old hobby knife because it's always faster than trying to get these little tabs. So there's that. Just open them all up. So I'll take a wild stab that the blue, yellow, green, and red decks are all these cards. Like, these are all attack cards. These are all healing cards. These are all spying cards. Those are all wild. And cardstock's nice. Show the backs. It's like the backs are identical here. So let's see. So these are only worth an attack symbol. So that's worth an attack. It looks like it's got a resource as well. So up to 3. Oh, so this is a negative value. See, looks like it's minus treasure. Oh, now we got some green. Got some additional green. Got those. So they're all very similar. Okay, so here's our blue, our spying cards. And then we've got our wild. And I was going to say, there's got to be something else with these. These are buildings, huh? Oh, no, these are our great buildings, I think. Because it costs quite a bit to build. Kind of surprised we don't have a name for what these buildings are. Now, granted, there's artwork, and you can see this is a shrine. Don't know. That might be a church. Here are our wound cards. It's pretty nice artwork on these. Got reference cards. Should we have 5 of them, right? There we go, 5 of those. And then these are just to represent the players, maybe. Player types. Oh, that's allies and scoundrels. Okay. Thought maybe there was more to it than that. All right. So these are all of the cards. Then the last thing we have are the tiles. So these are going to be our regular buildings as well as our threats. So that's our, looks like a treasure. So I think that's the back of the card. It's showing what it costs to build it. Kind of surprised they're all the same. So it looks like we've got 3 of each. No, that one's 4. 4 of each value. That's what it looks like. That's 5 of that one. 6 of that one. So there are quite a few of these. 6. That's 3, 4, 5, 6. All right, these are attacks. So I think that's our famine. These are bandits. And those are barbarians. And then it tells us, okay, so let's say we've got that, right? So we got that plague. So if you don't spend the 3 healing cards to eliminate that, you're going to flip it over. It says, all players get a wound. I saw like here, it says, nothing happens. You failed to deal with it, but nothing happened. All right. So I am not positive how. Do these just get all shuffled up together? It's a possibility, because I thought you lay these out along with these. So it's just telling you what you have to do to either defeat it or to build it. And then I think that goes towards your prosperity total is what I'm thinking here. So even though it's 18, 15, 15, this one's 12. So I don't know. Looks kind of interesting. It looks like it would play pretty fast. Looks like it'd be a pretty quick game to get through. All right. So now the question becomes, how do you fit all these back in? Because they were kind of, oh yeah, they'll fit easily enough. We also have these little envelopes again. We'll put those back in. So we got the rules, we've got all the cards. We've got our first player token, which I think is what's going to kind of seal the deal in here with the size-wise. So this has a little piece of fabric to pull this out. So it just slips right in there. All right, and that is everything from Dawn when we take it outside the box. Of course, I'll have a review of Dawn in the very near future. I mean, it's as snug as a bug in a rug. Yes, it looks kind of cool. And once again, it's a $20 game. So it looks like it's got a bit going on for it at a pretty small price point. All right, let's swing back on over to the other camera. Do want to mention that I will be attending Gen Con next week. Knock on wood. I may be by myself. My brother might join me. I'm going to tell you right now, I get the impression I'm going to end up being there by myself, which is going to be a pain dragging a tripod and stuff around. But if there is a publisher out there that you would like me to stop by and chat with, let me know in the comments section. Keep in mind, you can't make a comment while the stream is live. So you can only comment after the stream has ended. But I have arranged to talk to Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Yes, the madman should be happy about that. And I know somebody had asked about Green Ronin Publishing, and I was going to reach out to them, and then I took a look, and their marketing person and I did not see eye to eye a few years ago. So, and I do see that they're still with the company. So I'm like, oh, well. It's like, so much for that. But once again, let me know. This is who I've got so far off the top of my head. The Op. I also have Chaosium, Modifius. I'll be talking to Chris Birch. Cubicle 7 Entertainment, obviously enough. I'll be talking with my friend Dom. Let's see who else. Renegade Game Studios. I think there are a couple more, but they're not jumping out, smacking me in the head. John Mascola says they'll be at Gen Con. Yeah, if any of you out there are going to be at Gen Con, you'd like to grab a bite to eat or have an adult beverage or even maybe do some gaming with something to eat and an adult beverage. It's going to be a lot of adult beveraging. Like at Comic-Con. Yeah, so I'm an adult. I'm allowed to have adult beverages. So yes, if you're going to be at Gen Con, send me an email. Shoot me an email and then try to maybe work something out. Maybe meet up after the exhibit hall closes or something like that. So, because I would be more than happy to say hello. And of course, if you are at Gen Con, you're just strolling along and you see me, as long as I am not sitting there in the middle of an interview with somebody, be sure to say hello. While it says Pinnacle are cool, I've still got fond memories of the original Deadlands. Would be interested in any Chaosium supplements for basic role playing. I don't know if they've got much cooking for that at the moment. I think they're focused right now on like new things, not like, Call of Cthulhu or RuneQuest or Pendragon. I think it's the focus on Rivers of London at the moment. So I don't know if they've got any sort of basic role playing, like setting books or something on the horizon. But I will ask. I think I'm probably going to talk to Michael O'Brien. And I've got a funny, quick story about Michael O'Brien. So I'm interviewing him at last year's Gen Con, and Elliot's doing the cameraman duty. And I kept referring to Michael O'Brien as Mob. So we wrap up the interview in that, and Elliot says, man, he kept calling him by the wrong name. I said, what are you talking about? He says, you kept calling him like Bob or something. Because I couldn't hear exactly what's going on. And I said, no, I kept calling him Mob. Because that's his nickname. Michael O'Brien. He goes by Mob. He likes people to call him Mob. He's like, oh. It's like, because I'm sitting there and I'm like, how do I let how do I let Jeff know that he's getting the name wrong? And I'm like, you didn't have to worry about it because I didn't get it wrong. Should point out, I've got some new stuff behind me. You may notice that I've got, these are from Kid Robot. I picked these up. They were not San Diego Comic-Con exclusives, but I did pick them up because Kid Robot was there. So I picked up the Owl Bear, which is right there in the corner. And I also picked up the Displacer Beast, which is right over here. So, yeah, so we've got I got some new characters behind us there. Keldon is with us. Good to see you, Keldon. Says they remember the original Deadlands. Didn't you hit bad guys in the guts or something? Deadlands wasn't Pinnacle, though. I'm trying to remember the company's name. I forget. We've talked about this before. I used to pick up role-playing core books and splat books and left and right, and all I ran was Call of Cthulhu. But I loved reading various different RPG books, and it was funny. I always be like, oh, yeah, I can imagine myself running this. And then it was just Call of Cthulhu. So it was like, okay. So if you're curious what's happening this week, because next week there will once again not be any episodes of the Gaming Gang Dispatch, although there will be videos from Gen Con, as long as I don't plug the wireless mic receiver into the headphone jack. But tomorrow, we're going to shake things up a little bit on a War Game Wednesday because we're going to take a look at Twilight 2000 Urban Operations from my friends over at Free League Publishing. That's right. It has arrived. We are going to dive on in and check it out. And then on Thursday's show, we are going to take a look at Tome of Beasts 1. This is the new, like, remastered edition. I will be giving away this pocket edition. I have the hardcover behind me, so you can't see it, I'll scoot out of the way. It's right there. That's what we're going to be taking a look at. Keldon says, yeah, Pinnacle is Savage Worlds Deadlands. Yes, I understand that. I'm talking about the original Deadlands when it came out in the 1990s. That was not Pinnacle Entertainment Group. It was somebody else. I swear it. So, Kevin says Twilight 2000 review should be interesting. Well, it's not a review. It's a first look. Keep that in mind. So we're going to take a look to see what's in that. We're going to look at Tome of Beasts 1. Then when I get back, of course, I'll have some goodies probably from Gen Con. But we also have, all right, somebody out there, I know Kevin is usually our go-to for our role-playing game history, or at least accessing the internet while I'm live to see what's going on. I don't think it was Pinnacle. I don't think Pinnacle was around. So anyway, the new Cobalt Press, Waste of Chaos, and then the adventure book, and something, Prepared, the Prepared book. So all three of those shipped out. So we'll be taking a look at this. I got Heroes and Hardships was sent along. So we're going to take a look at this. This is a universal role-playing game. So this is the core book. I also have this little GM's guide I'll be taking a look at. We're supposed to be getting some Elf King miniatures and stuff. So Kevin says they have no idea who did the original Deadlands. All right, real quick, this will be the last thing and I'll wrap up. Let's take a look. I know this is great content, watching me search for something online. All right. So taking a look here. So it's on Wikipedia. It is Pinnacle Entertainment Group. Nice. Okay. So I was wrong. So there you go. Way to go. Nicely done. So once again, I mean, yeah, I'm certainly not an expert when it comes to Deadlands, because Deadlands was another role-playing game. Not now, but back then it was another one of these games where it was like every time you turned around, there was another splat book. Same with Shadowrun. Shadowrun was another one that it was just every time you turn around, it was like another supplement. Can you let the other supplement kind of like settle in my brain first? So we'll have some fun. We got some cool stuff. So tomorrow, once again, Twilight 2000 Urban Operations is on the agenda. All right. So that's it for this time out. If you like the video, by all means, give it a quick thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do subscribe, don't forget, ding that bell, because not only will it inform you when the dispatch streams live, it'll also let you know when I upload other videos, such as my monthly Why You Should Play series, which I will hopefully have a new episode up this weekend. Of course, when you're not watching videos on the Gaming Gang channel, be sure to visit thegaminggang.com for all the latest in tabletop gaming news, reviews, and a whole lot more you will not find here on the YouTube channel. You know the drill. Get your geek on at thegaminggang.com. If you were watching live, thank you very much. If you were watching live and took part in chat, a bigger thank you, because not only do you keep me company, you're keeping each other company. And of course, I also know not everybody has an opportunity to watch live. Doesn't matter if you're watching live or on Memorex. Thank you very much for taking time out of your busy life to watch any of the videos on this channel. So enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time of day it happens to be in your neck of the woods. I will be back tomorrow for a War Game Wednesday, and I certainly hope you get to enjoy plenty of great gaming. Your gang.
Oh, hey, you're still here. Well, that's okay. You don't have to leave just yet. In fact, why don't you subscribe to the Gaming Gang channel right here, or take a peek at the latest live stream, or even find out what YouTube recommends you check out from the channel. And of course, I'm Jeff McAleer. Thanks again for watching.